Good morning to all. I think today we have the 10th class. So actually we planned for first unit for 12 hours. Today we have the 10th hours and 2 more hours we can finish now. That's it. So up to last class we can see for rule of inference using quantifiers. The last class we can using the rule of inference using quantifiers, and that we can use it for ES and US, universal specification, existential specification. So once you can specify some value, then we come back to UG, universal generalization, EG, existential generalization. That is the main things we have done in the last class. So that is you can go for proof by direct method, indirect method, as a contradiction method, like etc. So now we are in the last topic of this chapter, that's the unit 1, introduction to proofs. So in mathematics, the main important is introduction to proofs. Like the soul of mathematics, we can say is like, so direct proof. What type of proof is there? Around 10 proofs is there. The first one we are going to see for direct proof. We can take the LHS, we can prove the RHS. That is called the direct proof. The direct proof of a conditional statement P tends to Q is constructed when the first step is the assumption that the left hand side P is true. We assume that the left hand side is true. Already we know the truth table of the condition. What is the truth table of condition? P tends to Q. Truth table is true, false, only false. All the other cases are true. Input is true. That is a P is true. Q cannot be false. So Q must be true. Only for the cases the conditional statement is false. True, false only is false. All the other cases are true. So that is we assume that P is true. Subsequent steps are constructed using the rules of inference. That is an implication, logical equivalences, algebraic theorems, like etc. With the final step showing that Q must also be true. So a direct proof shows that a conditional statement P tends to Q is true by showing that if P is true, then Q must also be true. That is a condition P must. If P is true, then Q must be true. If P is false, we don't bother about the Q. Q may be true or may be false. The answer is true only because the conditional statement formula is true, false, only false. All the other cases are true. So P is true, then Q must also be true. So that a combination P true and Q false never occurs in a direct proof. So in a direct proof, we assume that P is true and use axioms, definitions, and previously proven theorems together with the rules of inference to show that Q must also be true. This is we can use it using basically for all the proof. We can take the left hand side, assume that the left hand side is true. We can conclude the right hand side. Right hand side also is true. That is a basically we can using the direct proof. The next one, proof by contraposition or contrapositive we can say. Already I told to you P tends to Q, then the contrapositive is negation Q tends to negation P. That is a reverse. Converse, take the negation. In the converse, I can take the negation. Converse is P tends to Q, meaning converse Q tends to P. Take the negation, meaning negation Q tends to negation P. That is called contrapositive. Here we can say the proof by contraposition. This is under the indirect proof. It is the heading is indirect proof. In that indirect proof, there are two things. One is contrapositive, another one is contradiction. So under the indirect proof only we can do this two proof now. Proof by contraposition. This type of proofs do not start with the hypothesis. Hypothesis meaning the left hand side. We do not start with hypothesis and end with the conclusion. Left side start we cannot conclude the right side. That is a totally different way. Right side or a negation we can take the hypothesis. Left hand side or a negation we can get the conclusion. So ulta we can write. So an extremely useful type of indirect proof is known as proof by contraposition or contrapositive. Proofs by contraposition make use of the fact that conditional statement P tends to Q is equivalent to its contrapositive. That is a negation Q tends to negation P. This means that the conditional statement P tends to Q can be proved by showing that its contrapositive negation tends to negation P is true. In a proof by contraposition of P tends to Q, we take negation Q as a hypothesis and using axioms, definition, and previously proven theorem, together with the rules of inference, we show that negation P must follow. There is a contraposition. Sometimes they can specify in the question itself, proof by direct method, proof by indirect method, proof by contraposition or contrapositive, or proof by contradiction. If they can specify, you should do only that method. We can do the problem, we can do it in so many methods, direct, indirect, contraposition, contradiction, like etc. But they can specify only that method you can do. Some of the problem, contrapositive will be easy. We can go for direct method. We don't have some other idea to start. We can go for contraposition skill for the proof of that topic. Next, wax and trivial proof. Already we can, the word is trivial. Already we can study it. The simultaneous equation we can study the word is trivial. Trivial solution, unique solution, infinitely many solution. So no solution, like etc. Trivial solution means there is no way. So obviously the answers will come. Obviously it is true. No need to check. It is always it is true. For example, the homogeneous equation, the right hand side is 0, 0, 0 will come. One of the trivial solution is x equal to 0, y equal to 0, z equal to 0. Only the possible. That is called trivial solution. There is no other obligation you can say for that answer is true or false. Is it always is it true? So what's proof? Nothing is to be there. And we can quickly prove that a conditional statement P tends to Q is true when we know that P is false. Already I told you P tends to Q, the truth table is true, false, only false. If the input is true, we refer for the output is true or false, only we need this. Suppose the input is false, we don't bother about the output. The output may be true, that is a conclusion is may be true or false, we don't bother about the input is false. That is the wax proof. In the event we know that P is false, input a false answer, we can go for wax proof. So input is false. So then because it must be true, so when P is false. Consequently, if we can show that P is false, then we have a proof called a wax proof of the conditional statement P tends to Q. Wax proofs are often used to establish special cases of theorems that state that a conditional statement is true for all positive integers. So like etc. All the things we have given the example. After the complete proof, I will go for the example. Next, we can also, as an extra trivial proof, we can also quickly prove a conditional statement P tends to Q if we know that the conclusion is true. Here, wax proof is the input. The hypothesis is false, then we don't bother about the conclusion. The statement is conditional statement always true. Trivial meaning the conclusion is true. Actually, true, false, only false. The conclusion is true meaning we don't bother about the input. Here we don't bother about the output. Input is false, we don't bother about the output. That is called wax proof. For trivial, the output is true, we don't bother about the input. So that is, we can also prove a conditional statement P tends to Q if we know that the conclusion Q is true. By showing that Q is true, it follows that P tends to Q must also be true. A proof of P tends to Q that uses the fact that Q is true is called a trivial proof. This is the trivial and wax difference. Wax proof is input is false, don't bother about the output. That is a don't bother about the conclusion. Trivial meaning the conclusion is true, don't bother about the input, the hypothesis. These are the like two differences. A little proof strategy. Next one. Here we have described two important approaches for proving the theorem. Already we can prove to the last classes. The quantifiers will come. We try to go for all meaning universal specification. Direct is meaning existential specifications. That is little proof strategy. You have to go for some specific value, then you can prove. That is approaches for proving theorem for all experiments, direct proof and proof by contraposition. Now we use the following lines of arguments. We first attempt a direct proof. First we can go for direct proof. Suppose direct proof is not possible, we cannot achieve the conclusion, then we can trial and error method, we can go for another method, contrapositive. So our attempt is not succeeded. Next attempt a proof by contraposition. That is a little proof strategy. First you can try for direct proof. Then we go for contraposition proof. Next, proof by contradiction. This is also under the heading of indirect proof. Indirect proof heading, there are two things. One is a contraposition, that is a contrapositive. Another one is a contradiction. Contradiction meaning converse. That is the easiest way. This is a very important. You can study it in the school time itself. Show that square root of 2 is irrational. Here also the same problem is there. No? That is also they are asking for 8 mark also. Show that square root of 2 is irrational. Irrational proof is complicated for us. I would like to take the contradiction method proof. I would like to take it as root 2 is rational. I assume that the conclusion is root 2 is irrational. I take the negation of the conclusion. So the root 2 is irrational. Then it will be contradict to some existing things. So a proof by contradiction established by assuming that the hypothesis P is true and that the conclusion Q is false. Hypothesis we can assume that true and the conclusion is false. Then using P and negation. That is I told you root 2 is irrational. That is a conclusion. I take the negation of the conclusion. Suppose I like to take it as Q is Q tends to Q of Q reference, root 2 is irrational. Then I like to take negation Q. Root 2 is rational. That is a not irrational, meaning another case is rational. That is a P is hypothesis true and the conclusion is false. We can take that as well as other axioms, definitions, and various theorems derived a contradiction. That is a negation P tends to Q is true. Negation P tends to Q is true will come, like etc. That is a contradiction. Conclusion you can take it as the negation. Next, proof of equivalences. That is a LHS equal to algorithm. Algorithm you can study logically equivalences. P tends to Q. If and only if. They are telling the word is if and only if. You can take the LHS, you can prove the RHS. You can take the RHS, you can prove the LHS. That is to prove a theorem that is of the form P biconditional Q, or if and only if Q. We show that P tends to Q, B conditional Q and Q conditional P are both true. The validity of this approach is based on the tautology. Final conclusion is tautology. There is a proof of equivalence. Mistakes in proof. Some mistakes. For constructing mathematical proofs, there are constructing many common errors occur. Among the most common errors are mistakes in arithmetic and basic algebra. Some basic mistakes we can do. Sometimes we can use mistakes in proof meaning x by 2 minus x. Sometimes put x equal to 2. Both sides, sometimes they can cancel the 0. 0 we cannot cancel on the both sides. Left hand side, right hand side. Sometimes 0 into 2 also equal to 0 into 5. That is a mistake in proof. 0 into 2. Left hand side is 0 into 2. Right side is 0 into 5. Then the next step 0 equal to 0. Normally we can write. That is not possible. If your term is vanished, you can remove the term. Remaining term you can check whether it is equal or not. Because 0 into 2 not equal to 0 into 5. You cannot say that statement is true for the conclusion. That is a mistake in proof sometimes. Counter example. This is we can using so many times. We can in the day-to-day class also we can use it. Sometimes we can give some examples. We need to understand the concept. We can give some example. That is a counter example. Or specifically we can say that counter example meaning the one sample it's enough to say the class. Sometimes. So like cooking a rice, we can check whether it is cooked or not. It's a one sample. Same like that for all. You can say one sample is not satisfied. The entire this is not satisfied. This is using the like missionaries, like etc. A lot of system or lot of products, goods they are buying. They can sample. They can check. There is a quality control system is there. They can take a one sample. From the one sample, if it is good, it's okay. If it is a default, then the entire lot will be rejected. In companies also they are doing like that. That's why some of the places are there in the factory outlet. Some shoes or some other bag, like it is a factory outlet. There's some minor mistakes is there. Some scratches, some thread is outside. Like the sample piece they can check. The lot will be rejected. So after entire lot, that type of pieces they can remove, they can we will first then go for the next step. That is a quality control. That is a counter example to show that a statement of the form for all x p of x is false. For all x p of x is false, we need only find a counter example. Only one example is enough. If it is not satisfied, the for statement is not true. That is an example x for which p of x is false. That is a counter example. So these are the proofs like we can give in the things. Some more examples we can go for here. So give a direct proof of the statement. Give a direct. They are specified in the question itself. Direct proof of the statement. The square of an odd integer is an odd integer. So you can square any odd number, we can get the odd number. That is, they are specified integer. And integer already we know is a number system. 0 plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2 like up to etc. So square of any integer is a square of odd integer is a odd integer. So the hypothesis x is an odd integer or n is an odd integer. That's why I can take it as a P, capital P. P is n is an odd integer. The conclusion is n square is an odd integer. That is a Q. The hypothesis left hand side is n is odd integer and my Q is n square is an odd integer. That is my right hand side. I want to prove P tends to Q. That is a direct proof. I want to prove integer, then Q is n square. That is a Q is an odd integer. We can take the left side, we can prove for the right side. Okay. Assume that P is true. Normally you can say P is true. That is a direct proof, meaning you can take the hypothesis as true. We can show that the conclusion is true. So P is true. So that is n is odd integer, that is n is not divisible by 2. Already we know that how to check whether it is odd or not. Even number meaning it is divisible by 2. Even numbers meaning it is divisible by 2. So odd number is not divisible by 2. That is a remainder will come. That's why I can take it. Therefore n is not divisible by 2. We know that odd number is 2n plus 1 or 2n minus 1. Normally we can return 2n minus 1 meaning put k equal to 1. 2n plus 1 meaning put n is equal to 1. 0 we can start. I like to take for here n equal to 2k plus 1 because that k is some integer. So I like to go for if n is integer, odd integer I can take. Okay, n square 2k plus 1 the whole square, I can a plus b the whole square is 2ab plus b square. So I like to take the first two terms, I can take it as 2 is common outside, 2k square plus 2k plus 1. So any number, if we can plus 1, any number meaning any even number, you can write plus 1, it is a odd number. Any even number, you can add or subtract 1, it conclude that it is an odd number. How to check whether it is an even number? Any number can be expressed as a form of product of 2 into that number, 2 into some value, 8, 2 into 4, 10, 2 into 5. A number can be expressed as 2 product of 2 into some number or divided by 2 the number is called a even number. After 2 into some any number, like 2k square plus 2k may be even or may be odd. Anyway, product of multiplication with the 2 it is a even number, plus 1 it is a odd number. So n is, we can take assumption is n is odd number, n square is odd. Clearly n square is not divisible by 2, therefore n square is an odd integer. Therefore P tends to Q is true. That is your conclusion. So this is the way of proof. You can take the left hand side, we can conclude the right hand side. That is a way of proof. Okay, next I like to do this board also you can use for I think. Nearly 146 students are present. Check it. Use the board. I think all of you visible of the board. No? All of you visible of the board.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next, present the problem is Write in the problem. N is an integer. So that n is an integer and 3n plus 2. 3n plus 2 is odd. Then n is odd.
Sir, question தெரியல sir.
Yeah, that's it. N is odd. Now we visible the board one.
Sir, இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் ரைட் சைடுல sir.
No, it's okay.
Okay sir.
Okay, this is the problem. Prove that n is an integer and 3n plus 2 is odd. Then n odd. That we need to show that now. Okay, how to prove for this one? Write down the proof. Okay, how to prove for this one? I like to take this first. Let p and q. Let what you can take as for p. N is an integer. P is n is an integer and 3n plus 2 is odd. N is an integer and 3n plus 2 is odd. That I can take it as p. I like to take it as q. N is odd. N is an odd integer. That I can take it as n is odd. Actually, we need to prove to prove. The statement is p tends to q. If n is an integer and 3n plus 2 is odd, then n is odd. That we need to show that. Okay. Actually, this is the input meaning this is easy. If n is odd, then we can go and conclude that is 3n plus 2 is odd is easy for me. So that's why I can go for. This proof can be done by converse also. Q tends to P also is possible. Otherwise, I can go for contrapositive statement. This is I like to take it as contrapositive for benefit my. So I can to prove by contraposition. To prove by okay, actually contraposition or contrapositive. Okay, that is to prove. What is the contraposition proof, ma? Negation Q tends to negation P. Yeah. The negation of the conclusion as your input, negation of the hypothesis as your output. That is a negation Q tends to negation P. Okay, what is a negation Q? Negation Q is n is not an integer. N is not an integer. Sir, n is not an odd integer.
N is not an odd, sir.
Odd integer, yeah. N is not an odd integer. Integers, n is not odd. N is not odd. But that is n is even. Okay. N is even meaning, but therefore n can be written as 2k, where k is an integer. Or k belongs to any real numbers. They don't say it's an integer. No other word is saying integer. That's why I can take it as a real number. Where k belongs to real numbers. Okay. So n is even. That's why I can take it as n is equal to 2k, where k belongs to R. Okay. N is equal to k. I like to go for 3n plus 2. I like to take it as for 3n plus 2. Try to copy this one. I like to move the. So I like to go for n is equal to 2k. Then I like to take it as for here 3n plus 2. I can take it as. What is the 3n plus 2? 3 into 2k plus 2. That is equal to 6k plus 2. I like to take it as 2 common outside. 3k plus 1. Any number can be expressed as product of 2 into some other value.
Even number.
Yeah, 3n plus 2 is an even number. Even number. So it is a even number. I want to show that 3n plus 2 is an odd. So 3n plus 2 is even number. N is an integer. So n is an integer. So So n is an integer, but here also you can take it as integer now. Z also is for n is an integer. But that is the conclusion is that is negation p. What is the p for here? N is an integer and 3n plus 2 is odd. Here n is an integer, 3n plus 2 is an even number. I like to take for odd, here even. That is a negation. That is you conclude the proof. About that for negation q, I can take our assumption and we get our conclusion is negation p. That for p tends to q is true. So hence the proof. That is a way of proof. This is easy. Here we don't go for direct proof. We cannot possible to go for direct proof. Is complicated. That's why I can take here only single statement. N is odd. That is a conclusion. That's why I can take for reverse process is easy for me. It is a reverse process is benefit for me. Can you be a doubt, ma? My method is not unique. You can do it in any way. Students, may I figure that out? I copied back. Can I move on to the next one? Maybe 146 students only is there. I think last class, I think 159 is there. So some of your friends is not joined. Please try to inform in the class time. Try to join. And also try to submit the homework in the on time. I think most of them is submitted. And also some of the handwriting is very good. I think some other words will are there. And one more students, I think something. Some of the students' handwriting is good. And also proof also is good. The John only they are doing the 9th class, yesterday class homework they are doing. Some more mistakes is there, but they are trying to do it the first student. So try to do a day by day basis only I can do the homework. Go and check. I think 5th day and 6th day class I will do the homework. Remaining classes I will give the homeworks. I think 1 or 2 problems only is there. Suppose if you have any doubt, you can ask in WhatsApp or in the classroom, Google Classroom also you can. If you have a doubt, again I can do it and take a snapshot and then send to you. And I try to improve the handwriting of some of the students because the negation, conjunction, sometimes they are writing for intersection union symbol. So negation also not 7, like vertical line, 7-minute class. Sometimes you can change negation or tilde symbol also you can use. Can I move on to the next problem? Students, can I move on to the next?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next one is show that the proposition P of 0 show that the proposition P of 0 is true. Show that the proposition P of 2 is true, comma, where P of n is, the statement is, if n greater than 1, comma, then n square is greater than n. If n is greater than 1, then n square is greater than n. And the domain consists of, and the domain consists of all integers. Domain meaning input value, all integers. That is n is integer and the n is greater than 1. Integer, it should be greater than 1. How to prove for this one? Can you give any other idea? If n is greater than 1, then n square is greater than n. And the domain consists of all integers. How to prove for this one now? Only the things here, the note that P of 0 is the statement what is only if n is greater than 0, that's why you can write. Sorry, n value then you can take it as 0. If 0 is greater than 1, put n equal to 0, 0 is greater than 1, comma, then 0 square is greater than 0. Can I conclude this statement? Can you see the proof? What type of proof for this? So we can show that P of 0 is true. How to prove for this one? We can show that P of 0 is true by what type of proof? What are the proof we can study, ma?
Universe.
Hello? Are you audible, ma?
Yes, sir. Proof by contradiction, mistakes in proof.
Hello? Oh. Students, are you audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, and then proof for direct, indirect, like etc. If the input is false, here the input is false. Input is n is greater than 1, but input is 0. 0 is not greater than 1. So my input is false. About what proof we can apply?
Mistakes in error.
If we can say about the input, it's called
Mistakes in
not a mistakes. If we can say about input and also output, wax and trivial proof I can told you. Wax proof, vacuous proof is the input is false. Already told to you P tends to Q. The truth table is P value. For example, the truth table P, here Q, P tends to Q. True, true, false, false. Here true, false, true, false. Conditional statement meaning true, false, only false. All the other cases are true. That is a wax proof is input is false. If the input is false, the statement is conclusion is true. Don't bother about it. If the input is false, similarly for trivial proof is the output is true. The output is true. We don't bother about the input. That is a trivial. It is a depending upon the output. That is a trivial proof. If the input is, we can go for wax proof. Inputting mistakes. Input on the 0. 0 is greater than 1 is not possible. Now you can prove by vacuous proof. Vacuous is proved by vacuous proof. The given statement is true. That's all. We prove by vacuous proof the given statement is true. Because reason is because the hypothesis 0 is greater than 1 is false. That's why I can write because the hypothesis or the input, because the hypothesis 0 is greater than 1 is false. That is the input is false. This case you can take it as input is false, output always true. That is a hypothesis. Input is false. Therefore, this tells us that P of 0 is true automatically. So this tells us that P of 2 is true automatically. This states that P of 0 is true automatically. That is a vacuous proof. You can identify which type of proof. Input is false, then you can go for wax proof. The output is true, then you can go for trivial proof. Okay, try to copy. I can move on to the next problem. We can move on to the next one. Can I move on to the next problem?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This also I can send it in your WhatsApp also. I think I send it in the Google Classroom also, the same PDF. Yeah, next one. Let P of n be, the statement is if A and B are positive, A and B are positive integers or positive integers. A and B are positive integers with A is greater than or equal to B, comma, then A power n is greater than or equal to B power n, comma, that is the statement. P of n indicating for if A and B are positive integers with A is greater than or equal to B, then A power n is greater than or equal to B power n. Where the domain consists of the domain consists of all integers. All integers. The domain consists of all integers. Full stop. Show that P of 0 is true. P of 0 is true. Show that P of 0 is true. Okay. Any other idea how to prove for this one? P of 0 is true, we want to prove. How to prove for this one? First you can write. What do you mean by P of 0? Actually, this is a proposition. The proposition P of 0. What is the P of 0 is if A and B are positive integers with A is greater than or equal to B, comma, then A power n value number 0. A power 0 greater than or equal to B power 0. That's all. P of 0 is A and B are positive integers with A power 0 is greater than or equal to B power 0. Okay. What you can conclude about here, A power 0 answer and B power 0, both the answer is 1. A power 0 1, B power 0 also 1. So both are equal to 1. Therefore, the conclusion of the conditional statement, therefore, the conclusion is true. Therefore, the conclusion of the conditional statement. Therefore, the conclusion of the conditional statement is true. Conclusion is true. We don't bother with the input, the output. Output is greater than or equal to, not strictly greater than. Strictly greater than meaning this is false. Greater than or equal to. That's why it is true. The conclusion is true. For example, the conditional statement. Actually, we can take it as P tends to Q. Already I told to you. You can take as is a P tends to Q. The statement is here in some space. I can write for here. P tends to Q. P tends to Q. Here, true, false, false. True, false, false. Output is true, false, only false. Remaining statement all are true. This is the conditional statement, truth table. If the output is true, I can identify the output is true. That is the conclusion. That is a conclusion. This is your conclusion. The conclusion of that is a P conditional Q as my conclusion. P tends to Q as my conclusion. The conclusion of the conditional statement is true. Now, what type of proof? We don't bother about the input. I can consider only the output. The conditional statement is true. So what you can write the conclusion now? What
P
type of proof?
is true.
Yeah, P is true. What type of proof? What using that method of proof is what strategy we can follow for here? So P of 0 is true by last one wax proof. This is a wax use proof is input is false, then the conclusion is true. If the conclusion is true, then by trivial proof. Yeah, ultimate aim is the conclusion is true. So here P of T 0 is true by trivial proof. This is by trivial proof. This method is called by trivial proof. Okay. So here the don't bother about the hypothesis. The conclusion is true. Our ultimate aim is the conclusion is true. Then it is called the trivial proof. That is an example of proof. Sometimes they can asking for 16 mark or 8 mark also. So classify all the proofs by example. You can go for vacuous proof one example and trivial proof is one example, like etc. So once copied, you can tell me and move on to the next one. Completed, Emma?
Yes, sir.
Can I move on to the next one? Can I erase it, ma?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Right on next one. Very most important. They are asking 8 mark also. That already you can study in your school. I think 8, 10 or 11 you can study. Prove that square root of 2 is an irrational number by giving the proof by contradiction method. They can specify in the question itself to prove by contradiction method. Question is prove that square root of 2 is an irrational number. Prove that square root of 2. Prove that square root of 2 is an irrational number. Irrational. Square root of 2 is an irrational by giving a proof by contradiction method. By I like to contradiction. By contradiction. Giving a proof by contradiction. Okay. How to prove for this one? Write on the proof. First, you can take it as let P is root 2 is irrational. Okay. I can take as P is irrational. Okay, how to prove for this one? Contradiction. To prove by contradiction. Contradiction meaning the symbol normally we can use. Opposite. That is a contradiction. After that is the meaning, we can assume that our input is contradiction meaning conclusion or negation we can take it as. Conclusion or negation our assumption. Let negation P is true. We can take negation P leads to a contradiction. That is not. That is negation P leads to contradiction. Okay. What do you mean by negation P? Root 2 is rational, not irrational. Yeah. Any rational number can be written in the form of how you can write. So assume that root 2 is rational. Therefore, assume that root 2 is rational. Okay. If root 2 is rational, then how we can write? Therefore, root 2 can be written as any rational number can be expressed as in the form of what is the definition of rational number? Ma? What is the definition of rational numbers? You can write in the top. Rational number or normally real number, you can write Q. Ma. The symbol is Q. Rational number set of all x comma y or p comma q such that x comma y belongs to integer and x not equal to x by y and x not equal to 0, y not equal to 0. Any number can be expressed as in the form of x by y or p by q. Then we can say it is a rational number. Any number can be expressed in the form of numerator by denominator, some p by q. We can use the term p. I like to take it as a by b. Any number can be expressed in the form of a by b, then it is called a rational number. That is a definition of rational number. So p by q. Therefore, and note, a and b have no common divisor. Have no common divisor. No common divisor. No devices make no common devices. Suppose common I can cancel. இது ரெண்டுக்கு கோப்பைன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Another name வந்து கோப்பை. Common divisor is 1. But therefore you can squaring on both sides. To squaring on both sides meaning a square by b square will come. B square is equal to a square divided by 2. Therefore a square b square is equal to a square by 2. After you can write for him. Board is not visible. You can write. Yeah. B square is equal to a square by 2. So therefore B square is divisible by 2. If any number square divisible by 2, B is also divisible by 2. B is also divisible. But therefore, B can be written as 2k. Divisible by 2 meaning even number, 2k. Now, B equal to 2k meaning, then the reverse process also you can take 8. B is divisible by 2. So now A square is an even number. So next you can go for 2. You can take it as B square is equal to, what you can take, A square is equal to 2 times B square. A square is equal to 2 times B square. A square is equal to 2 times of 4k square. A square is equal to, A square is a product of 2. Therefore, A square is divisible by 2. Divisible by 2. A is also divisible by 2. A is also divisible by 2. Therefore, A equal to sum to K1. I like to take it as B equal to sum to K and A equal to 2K1. Therefore, A and B have a common divisor 2. Ultimate 2 common are, which is our contradiction now. Therefore, A and B have a common divisor as 2, which is, this leads to our assumption. So, which is a contradiction. Okay. This is a contradiction to our assumption. So, hence the proof. So, A is an even number, B is an even number, which tends to a contradiction to our proof. Okay. Okay, now. Up to this, you can go through. Suppose we have a doubt, you can clarify now. You can try to clarify.